I don't know if you're blurry or not.
Um,
Yesterday you were very crisp and clear, and welcome back everybody to First Ring Daily. And everybody commented on how clean and crisp
um,
and wonderful Paul was.
yeah. We don't know why those things happen. Why is it blurry usually? Someday I'm just going to pop open a laptop and instead of doing it on my, it shouldn't matter though, right? Because we're here. Because I think it might be the internet connection. I don't know.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. No, well, because last time you did it on a laptop, it was great from your
Yeah, but it
house.
wasn't here.
No, you were.
Was I?
Yeah, you did it from a Surface Book. Somebody was doing something in your house, and you did it from that. So whatever.
Well, maybe I should just do that. Oh well.
Speaking of things that are also great, not this behind me, we'll talk about that in a minute. We put a new spam filter on the site, and hopefully there's not any more spam.
I had a little freak out this morning because every day my workflow involves waking up. I don't eat breakfast. I was going to say eating breakfast. I was going to go through all my morning things, but one of them was like spam, and I usually load up the top 8 or 10 forum posts and look, and every day I find several of them, and it's harder in the articles because the articles, there's a lot more of them that could be anywhere in the article. It's really hard to find that stuff. So I know I'm not hitting all of them, but it seems like it's gotten worse. Like we've taken steps over time. It went away for a little while. You probably know more about this than I do, Brad, but I think at one point we eliminated like social networking logons. I think that was
Partially, yeah. Yep.
one of the things that helped. And then, but they keep finding ways to get by the whatever blocks we put on this stuff. And I don't understand the business of it. I mean, it's always nonsense. 9 times out of 10, the person who creates an account for the purposes of putting spam on the site like actually puts a user image, and it's almost always an attractive young woman. I don't know what possesses these people to go to those extents. But here's a little tip for the spammers in the audience. Use a middle-aged guy next time. It won't look suspicious. Just a thought. But yeah, so what did Tim do today? I'm not even completely sure what this is.
He installed just a new filter, and Stephen Lack, I think we can thank him for this because he suggested it to me last week, and I passed it along to Tim, and he looked at it, and we rolled the dice.
Yeah. I mean, Tim has got a big to-do list, and I didn't mean to interrupt his little progress through that list, but
you did, but it might be okay.
I did, and I can't. It's such a waste of time. It's just stupid. It's a waste of time for them to do it. I don't know. I don't understand. There's no one coming to this site is ever going to look at the nonsense English as a second language with a hyperlink thing and say, I think I'm going to click on that. And then when I do, I'm going to go do the thing that triggers them getting the money. It's inconceivable.
Yep. It's but hopefully this will eliminate some of that crap, or all of it actually. Not some of it, but really kind of hoping here that it all goes away.
Yeah. Yep.
So, speaking of it all goes away, Paul, what led to this?
I had to think about that one for a second. Yeah, this being the sad state of Windows 10 today, right? It's I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I didn't write this in the article, but this is kind of a story that kind of tells the story. My wife went back to Boston recently and went by not the house we just moved from, but the one we had before that. And we've owned, I guess, 4 houses now. And the one thing we're both semi-proud of is the fact that we leave these places in better shape than we found them. In every case, we've fixed them up to some degree and made them better. And so the people who bought them from us got a better house than we got when we moved in there in the first place. And so that house 2 houses ago, which is in Dedham too, near our more recent house, had been abandoned. Like it was like some kind of a foreclosure thing. There was like a sign taped onto the window. The property was all dilapidated. My wife looked in the window at the inside of the house and was like, geez, this thing it's all falling apart in there. And you could go up on, I think it was Zillow or something, and I had photos of the inside of it. And it's all the paint jobs we did to the walls, all the upgrades we made, wall heaters falling off the side of the wall, and everything's all scratched up and looking really crappy, And my wife and I both agreed 100%. If we had never moved to Pennsylvania, if we were still in Dedham, we would have bought that house, fixed it up again, and then sold it. Not to flip it to make money, but just to set it right. Like, it was hard to watch something that shitty happen to something that, we cared very much about. And that's what Windows 10 is.
I was wondering how you were going to make that transition.
Yep, see, I pulled it together.
Yeah.
It's this thing that I feel strongly about that I think should be treated with respect. It's something that billions of people use every single day, and they, meaning Microsoft, are ruining it. And what led to this bit is you've got this thing that has billions of users, but the problem is you can't monetize them the way that you used to. The PC market is falling apart. And what that means is people aren't buying as many computers anymore. So instead of buying a computer every 3 or 4 years, they're stretching out to 7, 8 years or more. And frankly, I don't think most of those people are going to ever buy another PC again.
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft saw this change coming. They obfuscate their revenues from Windows licenses by hiding it inside of other things. So they don't really talk about hard numbers anymore. There's a reason for that. And they've been seeking other ways to monetize Windows. And there are things like, let's put a mobile apps platform on there. It's at least a semi-legitimate way to make money, in the sense that you can charge 30% off of app purchases. Hopefully the apps will be something that people care about and want, and it's not a bad thing. But of course, putting a mobile apps platform on a desktop system didn't really work out for Microsoft, so that never worked out. But you see it most clearly in the ads that are all over Windows, and getting worse and worse and worse. In 2013, I talked about how ads in Windows 8 at the time were a slippery slope, and that they ruined the Windows experience. And there were a bunch of cheerleader goons out in the blogosphere who completely disagree with this. Well, surprise, look at Windows 10 today, and look at all the crap all over Windows 10. When you get a new Windows 10 version 1803 PC, chances are you're going to see an ad for Office 365 and Windows Setup. I did. I never took a photograph of it. I'm going to have to go back and try to do that again. But regardless of that, there are ads all over Windows. You know this. They're in apps. Mm-hmm. There was that new thing in Windows Mail. They're in the user interface. They're in the start menu. They pop up from the taskbar. They pop up if you try to not use Edge. They're taking steps to eliminate these choices, even so that you don't even have the option not to do this stuff. You get ads for OneDrive extra storage and for Office 365, and it kind of goes on and on and on. And I think back to, it was 3 years ago in January, Satya Nadella got up at that Windows 10 event, and he said, I don't want people just to need Windows. I want them to love it. And I said at the time, that's never going to happen as long as you let PC makers keep putting crap in Windows 10. But now it's Microsoft putting the crap in Windows 10. The biggest culprit from a crap work perspective is those 5 stupid games and a couple of apps that Microsoft puts in Windows 10 now. Yep. Candy Crush Soda, Sega, whatever the other stupid crap is. I don't know. I hate that stuff. But it's just sad. It's because this system, I spend a lot of time, I always have, this has been my big thing professionally over the years, is I always pay a lot of attention to the competition, not just to what they're doing, but I buy their products, I use them, I compare them to what Microsoft does. And I really, really, really prefer Windows to the Mac, to Linux, to Chromebooks, to the iPad Pro, whatever you want to say. Everything has its pros and cons, but for the work I need to do, for the stuff I like to do, and it has nothing to do with writing about Windows. I've certain people we work with in the blogosphere have certainly proved that you can use Macs and write about Windows. I prefer Windows, and I hate what Microsoft is doing to Windows. I hate it. And it's just, I mean, and the insane asylum aspect of this, I almost want to bring up this quote because it's kind of interesting to compare this to how things went with Windows 10S and now S mode, where Microsoft is hoping to, streamline the situation or whatever. The quote I wrote, and this is from 2015, so 3 years ago, I wrote, "Crapware destroys the Windows experience. It makes PCs more bloated, slower, and less efficient. The available disk space is compromised, as is battery life, boot and shutdown times, ongoing RAM and other resource usage, and more. Crapware is unnecessary, annoying, and hard or impossible to actually remove." And it's like, the irony is, Microsoft is creating this thing called Windows 10 or S mode or whatever, streamlined version of Windows that will solve every one of those problems I just raised. they're causing the problem, and like
Right.
they're fixing it with something else. I don't know. I just can't. I don't know what to do. It's hard. It's
Yeah,
hard.
and it's not going to get any better, especially
Yeah.
with the announcements. What, 2 weeks ago now, or how many ever days ago that shoe dropped?
So I guess there is a question, how these things will evolve, right? I mean, there are experiences teams that are working on some of the stuff that I just complained about. You wrote, I think, today about some of the new app experiences maybe are going away in RS5, and we don't know what that next release or future releases are going to look like exactly. Maybe we'll learn more next month. At Build, the core part of the OS has been taken under Jason Zander and the Azure team, and those are what I would call adults. And I'm kind of hoping that they look at the nonsense that's occurring in Windows 10 and they say, look, we got to put a stop to this. This doesn't make sense anymore. I mean, maybe a smaller Windows team, it seems like this thing's going to be chopped up pretty badly, has less of a financial overhead to justify, and they won't have to take these steps anymore, But I think the reality of the situation is that the user base just keeps getting smaller. It's never been particularly engaged, not in the past 10 years, certainly. And they just haven't proven to be open to spending money on stuff. I mean, they got Windows with their PC. As far as they're concerned, that thing came free with the computer, and they're not upgrading,
Yep.
So I think that's the thing that's changed. There are these two opposing forces of we need to get more money from these guys, and we want you to love Windows 10 more. And it's like, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Never going to give you up. Never going to say goodbye.
I should have used that as the graphic. What I wanted was a picture. There's quicksand shots. You get like a quicksand in the ground, and there's like a hat. You know what I mean? Because some guy like obviously fell into the quicksand, and what was left was his hat. But I couldn't find a good one of those. So.
Speaking of other things that are changing here, Paul, Google apparently notified the world today that Gmail is going to get a pretty nice little refresh here, which is probably overdue, but highly welcome.
I got that email, by the way, because I have actually it's my primary account is on the Thurrott.com domain is on G Suite. So they actually sent that email to me this morning. I use Google Inbox, which to me solves most of the usability issues of Gmail. So I'm curious if this new Gmail thing is going to look more like that.
I bet it does.
Yeah, I think so.
I bet it does too. It's a wacky Wednesday here, and it's a smidgen over 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The mercury
Spring is coming
rising.
slowly,
It's getting there.
I also noticed they downgraded the temperatures a little bit.
Not on my end. It's still looking.
Yeah, no, it's still looking good, but it's it was it's down 2-3 degrees each day. So,
well, we will survive. You got anything else for today, Paul?
No, I'm just gonna keep bitching and moaning. I don't know what else to do. I'm so unhappy with the state of affairs. It's like a child in a crib, and my toy is like right outside of my reach through the bars, and all I can do is kick my legs.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much par for the course at this point. Hey, at least you have 1803 to download today. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We want to talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah. It's
I mean, multiple sources told me that the rollout of that thing was happening yesterday. Sorry. And then on Monday, I found out that wasn't happening. And I prepared an article. Mehdi saw it in the editor and asked me about it, but I ended up not publishing it because I was hoping to find information about why it was delayed. And I think I have not yet, by the way, from my sources heard. But if you look at the little addendum, which is the fourth time they've done this, by the way, to the 2 weeks ago blog post about the build that is now the final build of RS4, Microsoft noted 3 security updates as part of a cumulative update that they released for it. And the last of the 3 is like a core security issue, a major security issue in the core parts of Windows and other components of Windows. And I can only surmise that's what happened. But I do find it odd that this thing could have happened this week, and Microsoft has never popped up like a Puxatawny Pete or whatever, and out of its hole and said, "Hey guys, here's what's coming. Here's when it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's new. Thought you might want to know because
Well,
you
as
might
we've
want to
learned,
write about it and stuff."
Many times, Paul, silence is always a good option. Just kidding.
Yeah, and from the perspective of the Microsoftie, or from those who love them and cheerlead them on, it's fair to say that Microsoft never publicly committed to anything. So saying that this thing has been delayed, I could understand where people would take exception to that, other than the fact that I know that it is delayed. So, whatever. But in the scheme of things, this doesn't matter. The life cycle on this is 18 months. The delta between this and the next release is about 6 months. Even if it goes out as fast as the last one did, it will be months and months before most people get this anyway. So whether it happens on a Tuesday in the first week of April or a Tuesday in the second week of April, it doesn't really matter.
Yep. So hopefully we will learn more soon, but I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Yeah, I mean, right. It's been weird, this release.
It
like
has.
this. I don't know. I hope they don't. I hope they go back to the old way of doing things for the next one.
Well, we will find out in about 5 months from now.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Right. That's true.
All right. Well, I think that about does it for today. No other major bombshells that I can think of rolling through the Rolodex of things that's going on in my life that are all pleasant and happy.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for today. We'll be back here tomorrow on Thursday with a whole bunch of good stuff, as we always do. Have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. Have a good Wednesday.